Vankers. Damn, had a voice crack right from the start, dude. Let me do that again. Hello, Vankers. Ooh, that's crispy, baby.
Yeah,
crispy.
baby. Yeah, we got to bring the energy because F1 has abandoned us this week.
That's right. There's no race, and all we have to talk about is Le Mans? Le Mans? Everyone's talking about Le Mans. I know. I'm supposed to care about it. I know I am.
No.
But it's hard. It's hard.
It's hard. You know what it is? I know that it's a big deal, but like, I don't have to care about it. And I think you can love motorsport. I love having sex. I don't think I would love 24 hours of sex.
Totally. It's like, what
you know
is
what I'm saying?
The
you could have too much of a good thing. This attitude that if you're not like a real fan, if you don't like 24 hours of it, is crazy. It is delulu. You are not a real fan unless you piss into a fucking bag and watch this thing for 24 hours. It's craziness. It's craziness.
Yeah, it's like growing up is about learning moderation. You recognize that it's like life is better with some moderation, and you can have a little bit of candy here, a little bit of candy there. You can have a couple drinks here, a couple drinks there. When you overdo it, that's when the trouble starts. This is what Le Mans is to me. These 24 hours, what's up with that?
I remember when I played Little League, and they were like, "Kids, it's a doubleheader this weekend." I'm like, "Fuck, gotta play 2 games? That's 6 hours of fucking baseball. That's miserable."
Yeah. Damn, that's such a good point.
Yeah. Sex, it's like you don't want it to be too short, but you don't want it to be too long. Right. Nobody's happy when it's too long.
Yeah, everyone gets you get sore. Everyone gets it
starts to hurt. It starts to get unpleasant.
Yeah, we want this thing to be fun and joyful. That's why, 67 laps, 2 hours with a red flag, 3, maybe 3.5. That's all I have to give towards these. The thing that I love more than anything,
that's a romantic morning.
And that's what I have to give towards the thing that I actually love, which is Formula One. And now I'm supposed to care about these cars that have covers over them.
I can't even see their heads, and they have different classes, so you can win. They have like the car that wins, and then they have the car that wins in the shittier. They have it's like they play single A through triple A through the major leagues. They play all the games at once.
Right.
So you can like win your LMP2 class, but still come in like 20th. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like if they raced F3 through F1. If they raced Monaco, but that actually would be sick. If they put all the Formula cars on the track at once, that would be awesome. Yeah, and the
F3 cars are the only ones that could actually pass. They just are they actually are faster than the F1 cars because they're smaller.
I'm talking myself into this all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I'm talking to myself. This is a great idea. They should have all the Formula cars race Monaco at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And apparently, Max was saying, they like, if your car's too fast, they'll just put weight on it.
Right.
They'll just put weight on it.
Right. Yeah. He was talking about how no, but wasn't he saying that he doesn't want to do Le Mans because they punish you if you weigh too much? That's why he wants.
There's like a performance balance clause. Like if your engine is more powerful, they'll just hamper you. That's why the cars are kind of even. It's not because it's spec. It's because they you can design the fuck out of a car and make it really good, and then they'll just hamper you. Mm-hmm. And then and yes,
that's why he said that he wants Yuki Tsunoda as a teammate. That's why he said he wants Yuki as on the team.
That's another issue. Is that they don't regulate the drivers' weights as well. So yes, Yuki would be a great teammate.
Dude.
And
you want me to care about Le Mans? Put Yuki Tsunoda in the fucking cockpit, and I will be watching all 24 hours of that shit. I'll tell you that much. Ferrari won. We like Ferrari now. The Ferrari F1 team.
They won last year. And Giovinazzi was on the team that won last year, so it was even more rally than this year.
That's right. But you know what's going to be rally the rest of this episode? We're going to talk about this FIA ruling about, 17's the new 18, babe. The Destructor's standing. Charles Leclerc is going to be an Olympic torchbearer. This is huge for him. Christian Horner versus James Allison. Beef. What's going to happen with Liam Lawson? All the silly season stuff that's looming. This is what this episode's going to be today. Let's start with this FIA ruling. The FIA has officially changed the minimum age for a super license to 17. Starting in 2025, drivers 17 and older can be considered for F1 versus 18. This rule was put into effect as a preventative measure after Max Verstappen's debut when he was 17. So Max Verstappen, literally, he changed the nature of the game. Because he came in like a fucking wrecking ball. And everyone was talking shit about him those early days because he was reckless and he got into crashes and all this shit. So they were like, hey, no more. They did the one and done thing that they did in college basketball, right?
Yeah, they said no more. They said no more after him, and then Antonelli came around, and they were like, "Well, no more. No, never mind." Like the first guy that came to challenge the rule, and they just decided, forget it, never mind. What a sham! What a sham! It's a sham.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point of having the Max Verstappen rule if the next guy that comes around, they just break the rule again?
Yeah.
The rule was put in place to stop the next Max Verstappen. Enter the next Max Verstappen, and they're not stopping him.
Right. They're saying right through this way.
Right this way.
However, this is saying, can we confirm that this is right, that it's going to start to take place in 2025? Starting in 2025, but he'll already be 18 by that point. So it actually doesn't. Is this just like a
don't
kind of
care about your facts? Okay.
That's a good point. You know what? Fuck that. So
I'm looking at Article 13, 1.2, which reads, at the sole discretion, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It seems like they're making allowances for Kimi Antonelli.
Right.
When they put in guardrails for this exact scenario, and now they're taking him away. And I remember I saw Alexander Rossi was like, oh, crazy how, for some people, for Colton Herta, they're like, sorry, rules are rules.
Yeah.
Them's the rules. And for Kimi, they were like, right this way. Now, I will say,
yeah,
I get it more when it's, when he's F2 and he's young Mercedes driver versus I don't know, some guy who Colton is a good driver, but I mean, What's the highest he's finished in IndyCar? 5th? 4th?
Yeah, it's just right. Yeah, he's not setting the world on fire at IndyCar. He's a very good driver.
But Kimi is a Mercedes driver, and he has won literally everything that he's touched. He's won every junior category,
and he's won the stuff. Let's be honest. Yeah, this thing is not this thing isn't in a vacuum. This world of motorsport, there are clubs. There are clubs. And there are certain clubs that are easier to get into. There are certain clubs that are harder to get into. And this is the exclusive, Formula One club, where if you come up through the system, if you come up through their system, through their farm system, you get more bennies of the D.
Yeah, bennies of the D. And I think that maybe Toto Wolff whispering into the ear of the FIA probably has a little more sway than Michael Andretti. I mean, you know what? We should have known that this Andretti thing wasn't going to happen when Michael couldn't even get Colton Herta a super license. He couldn't even make that happen.
Right.
There's no way he's getting a fucking team on the grid. I mean, that should have been a layup. To get one of the top IndyCar drivers a fucking super license, and he fucking couldn't do it.
No, there's clearly bad blood over, there, because people not being able to make some moves, him not being able to call in a few favors to get just a driver onto a team that's not even his. There's clearly bad
they were
between,
and Gunther said it.
Yeah.
Gunther said if his daughter was a young driver, who he'd go with.
Yeah.
You know who he'd go with? He'd go with, he said Mercedes, because they seem to know.
Mercedes.
I mean, Toto Wolff has kept Ocon in the game. He fucking got Nick DeVries a drive. because Nick De Vries was the guy who got Colton Herta's spot. I mean, Toto Wolff has kept Valtteri Bottas in the game. Valtteri Bottas doesn't even want to be in the game. He's in the game.
That's true.
I'll say this about Toto Wolff. He is good. He is a great driver manager. He is great at getting guys seats. He's looking like he's got an Ocon a seat, and he looks like he's kept Bottas in the game, and it's looking like he's going to get Kimi into the Williams seat. He delivers. He fucking delivers. And even though Ocon is a rat fuck, he keeps him in the game. And it's because it's looking like Ocon's going to Haas. I mean, how humiliating is that? That like people are just and look. I've heard rumors are that Pierre Gasly is looking to leave. People are looking to leave a fucking manufacturer to go to Haas. This is the world we live in, Brian. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. I mean, not that I want to spill any more ink on Le Mans, but these fucking Alpines, they had a double DNF. It was the 4 hours of Le Mans for Alpine. 5 hours Le Mans? Was it the 5 hours of Le Mans? It was pathetic.
Yeah. And now there's reports that Alpine could abandon Renault and become a customer team in 2026. The French manufacturer is in talks with rivals about customer engine deals amid suggestions that it could abandon the Renault Works unit. This is from motorsport.com. Alpine is considering abandoning its thing. With the current Renault power unit down on performance compared to rivals and no certainty it will get things right in the next generation turbo hybrids coming in 2026, it has questioned whether the huge investment needed to produce its own engines is essential.
Brian, that's like us firing ourselves from our own podcast. It's crazy. It's like, we suck at this. We should just replace ourselves with somebody else. Yes. I mean, it's so crazy. I mean, because here's the thing. The whole reason you do one of these teams is to show how good you are at making cars. And then you fire yourself for making cars. You say, nah, we actually suck at making the engines. We'll take someone else's engines.
Right. Well, they slowly, it's like there's been the rebranding a few times, right? And now it's like there's been the rebranding of like, no, we're Alpine. We're like slowly stepping away, kind of like backing ourselves into the corner, like with 1 foot out the fucking door. Now it seems like they might be out the door.
Well, but still in the door because there's still going to be a customer team so they're going to be an Alpine car, like let's say with a Mercedes engine or a Red Bull engine, like kind of like an Aston or a McLaren. Like those are cars, those are car brands that don't make their own engines. Right. But McLaren feels different, right? Aston feels different because those are like luxury car brands that are not like big industrial behemoths. Right? You expect...
No, I'm flying to Paris in a couple of days. I'm going to be seeing a shit ton of Renaults on the road.
Right. Those are big, industrial behemoths. You expect Ferrari... Ferrari's actually a luxury car, but you expect like companies like Mercedes, Honda, Ford to make their own fucking engines. Those big... Renault. And I think what's really... And this is what I wanted to get into with you, Brian. This is my thought is...
Yeah.
The word on the street, right, is that Renault wants to be in for as little as possible. They're like, okay, how do we keep our foot in this thing? In this how do I keep our toe in this F1, our finger in this F1 pie for as little money as possible? Like, how do we keep in this? How do we stay in this F1 relationship without like putting a ring on it, without really investing the time, the TLC, right?
Right.
Now, I guess my question is, to me, if you're not going to fully commit to it, if you're going to say, okay, everybody else is spending 100 million, but we only want to spend 40, then it's just like not even worth. It's like then you're lighting the $40 million then you're spending $40 million to humiliate yourself. Better to spend $100 million and be respectable than $40 million and look like shit. I'd much rather just spend $0 and get out. Because guess what? You know who's not getting laughed at? Toyota. They're not in this. Like nobody's like thinking about, like no one thinks Toyota sucks. Toyota's just not in the sport. Just get out of the sport. Jeep, right? There are brands that are just, you know what? We're going to spend our marketing elsewhere.
Right.
So it's just like, I just don't think there's a point in like a half measure. It's like, no, we'll do F1 on the cheap. F1 only makes sense on the cheap if you're like Haas, right? Where like any win is like just not finishing last is a win. But when you're a fucking manufacturer team, to just be like, yeah, how can we cut corners here? It's like, no. You either win or what are you doing? What are you doing?
Right. Be in the arena. What's that? The man in the arena. That's the person with the most, as opposed to the,
I wish I knew what you were saying
or whatever.
I could participate in the.
This is a famous.
You want to be in the room where it happens, Aaron Burr.
Yeah.
The room where it happens. The room where it happens. The room where it happens.
The man in the arena quote. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles. Oh shit, that's us. Where the doer of deeds, the credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, but there is no effort without error and shortcoming.
I'd say we're men in the arena.
We're in the arena.
We say shit with our chests. We put ourselves out there. We don't say
That's
on the
true.
one hand it's this, on the other hand it's that. It's really hard to know.
That's right.
We put ourselves out there. We're basically a Formula 1 team,
100%.
dude. I mean, we have a fucking team principal on our fucking pod.
That's true. It's really hard to not like feel like we're K-Mag and Grosjean when talking to Gunter. That was what was happening last one. I was like, we're in a driver's meeting right now, and we're like arguing with him over things.
Yes.
Okay, but then all right. So Alpine maybe getting the fuck out. It seems like Gasly's gonna stay though. Gasly was at Le Mans. He was taking pictures with Mick Schumacher. It seems like, what if that's the duo next year? Because Yuki's out now, right? He's out of the driver market now. He's like no longer in play. But I think Alpine was talking to him. I think that Haas was talking to him. I think there was interest in Yuki, which is part of why Red Bull kind of like, scooped him, made sure that he wasn't leaving.
Yes, they took him off the market. I think Audi might have been interested in him. I want to get into Audi.
Audi might have been interested in
Audi
him
in a second, but can somebody? Can you, Brian? Can you explain to me like?
Yeah.
All the people that want either Mick Schumacher in the seat online, they're like, oh my God, give Mick the shot. Give Mick the shot.
Yeah.
Or Jack Doohan.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's just like, is it just because like they're so baby girl? Like what is the reason? Like, they're like, oh, like the people, I feel like they both give the like, I'm so sweet, nice guy energy. Mm-hmm. Therefore, they deserve a Formula One seat. Am I missing something? What am I missing?
That's probably in there. I think the people like the idea of Mick because of the family. They think his people that are on that side of things are like, he didn't get a fair shot at Haas. That wasn't fair.
What do you mean?
Actually,
He had Nikita Mazepin for a year, which was the best situation you could ever have.
Yeah.
And then he had K-Mag, who thumped him. So
who wiped the floor with him. And now K-Mag is going to be out of a seat.
Yeah.
It's like, it seems like K-Mag is going to be out of a seat next year. And K-Mag might be out of a seat, and then all of a sudden Mick Schumacher is going to be driving for Alpine. That doesn't seem... It's like, what's happening?
It seems maybe fair. It seems like it might make sense because Mick brings up maybe a lot of money with him.
Totally.
K-Mag, as we know, K-Mag doesn't bring... K-Mag just brings balls of steel wherever he goes. Some fucking rear wings or front wings with him.
Let's see who's in the Alpine Academy.
It's Jack Doohan.
There's Jack Doohan. There's Victor Martin.
Yeah.
There's Nikola Tsolov, Gabrielle Mini, Sophia Flörsch, Abby Pulling, Mateus Fiorera, and Keen Nakamura. How's Victor Martins doing in F2 this year? I feel like he's actually had a decent showing. Let's see the driver's standings.
I'm a slut for like how many years they take. If they take more than a couple of years, I'm just...
Oh, Victor, no, he's not having a good year. He's in 20th.
Ooh.
So it seems like it's like, Jack Doohan Why not? Why not Jack Doohan? What has his junior career been? Has he won anything?
So he came in 5th his first year in F2, which is good, pretty good.
Yeah.
And he was in F3 for 2 years. It's starting to. I love
someone on
you know
who,
what's crazy is I love like looking at these 19-year-olds like careers and just being like, that's over. It's so brutal. Oh man, he only won it when he was 18. You really should be winning those when you're 17. It's so fucking crazy.
But what Gunter said about this seat is like you should be trying to get the best driver available. You should be trying to get the best people.
So who is the best driver
in your
available?
Works team? Well, Valtteri Bottas.
So
currently available.
So people were DMing us this, right? They're like, "Oh my god, he won this bike race! Like, isn't that amazing?" I'm like, "No, it's not amazing. That would infuriate me."
Right.
Do you know how hard you have to train to be that good at that? Like, that's a specific discipline that you have to be. I'm like, does he even care about racing?
It is a question. I mean, there was this. I don't know if you saw. There was this guy who was talking some shit about him and Ricciardo recently.
Really? I just want to interject, Brian. We have a friend who's like training for a triathlon, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
You do have too much time on your hands. A little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Franz Verschuur, who is a former motor racing team boss, said about Valtteri Bottas. He said that Bottas needs to get his priorities in order. He just has to stop, just like Perez. What he is doing does not belong in Formula One. He drives like a newspaper. Do you know how many talents there are? He can work at the circus with Daniel Ricciardo. 2 clowns together. Drive fast, then humor.
Wow. That's savage.
Out here.
That's savage.
Savage.
What's crazy, though, is that they become so valuable because they've been in the sport so long. Because, like, who would be better than Bottas at this point? Like, just right out of the bag. Like, if you put Pillow in there or something, like, Pillow would take a learning curve, right?
Right.
You know, even people who are saying, oh, Antonelli is going to go to Williams and replace Sargent mid-season. Like, is Antonelli in half a season going to be better than Sargent?
Yes. Yes. That in that case, yes. But in other cases, I hear what you're saying. It's totally valid. Like, it's gonna take longer for someone to get accustomed, but then maybe you have someone for the long term. You can develop someone into someone who winds up being very good for you. That'd be the
who has experience?
K-Mag,
Bottas. Honestly, like Giovinazzi.
Giovinazzi has experience.
Mick has experience. It's like, how much do you take that, like 2-3 years experience versus like, give me a stud. Give me a stud.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's also interesting this whole, but it's like I've been saying some of the stuff about Bottas for a while. Like, it's like we've been saying it that like seems distracted. How much is his head really in it? He's as much as it's charming. When there was like the Uber ad, and everyone was like, how amazing is this? And I was like, I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it either. I was like, I have no interest in.
I'm not interested. Because I think that it is what he said at the end, like drive first, then humor. I think is true, and I think what's interesting. Daniel Ricciardo recently has come out with some statements around like how much he's being pulled in like lots of different directions and how it's distracting him from the driving. And I think with Ricciardo, that is probably more the case than it is with Bottas. I think Ricciardo's such an asset. And he's got so much going on that he is being pulled in just like a million different directions. So there's people like clamoring for his attention, clamoring for like all of this stuff. And I think he's said like it's been a distraction, and like I've put my foot down in the sand, being like, I'm doing less of this shit because I need to focus on, like, otherwise I'm not going to be here anymore.
Well, and I think he's got more of an excuse because I'm very willing to bet you that was part of why they wanted him. Like, it's like, we want you in the seat so you can drive and do this shit. Whereas, like, nobody's asking Bottas to, like, start a coffee company, a whiskey company, do bike races, bleach his hair, show his ass, do a calendar. No one's asking him to do that. He's just doing it.
Right.
So it's sad because there's so few seats, and I feel like a lot of these guys, they go a little bit longer than their shelf life.
Yep.
And their sort of lack of killer instinct, or their lack of engagement, unfortunately, is mitigated by their experience. Like, you just can't take away that experience. Like, some kid in F2 could really want to be there, but his drive is just not going to compensate for his lack of experience. And what Bottas lacks in drive, he just has the experience, and he's a fucking safe pair of hands, man. He's not going to blow your car up.
But do we think, because it seems like, it seems like with the Williams, because now it's looking like Carlos Sainz might actually go to Williams. There's rumors that it's going to be a 4-year deal.
That's what it's going to be. And I have to say, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills with this James Vowles thing. It's crazy. Yeah. I'm looking at the constructors standings right now. Okay, let's look at them. Let's look at them. Guess where they are. Guess where Williams is right now.
Second to last.
They're ninth with 2 points. Yes. They are now behind Alpine.
Mm-hmm.
James Vowles' ability to spin.
Yeah.
His ability to, like, he is the guy on the subway with the supermodel, and you're like, how did this guy bag this supermodel? I remember I was in a subway. I can't tell you how many times I was in a subway with my girlfriend from college, and she'd be like, that guy must have a huge dick. Because we just see this guy who's 4'11" with like a 6-foot model.
Right.
It's just like, that's what we're feeling. Well, by the way, I don't think anyone's feeling that but me and you. We're all like, what the fuck, dude? How is he pulling this off? It's crazy. He's in second to Alpine has 5 points. Bruno Famin has 5 points. Bruno Famin, Pixar face, face of loserdom, a bureaucratic loserdom. Everyone says, well, Alpine's a shit show. Alpine has 5 points. It's Mugatu. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. He's not good at his job. Williams isn't good.
Yeah.
Now, I get that Carlos doesn't have a lot of choices, but I mean, this Audi project, I mean, Stake F1 Kick Team Sauber has 0 points, which is kind of where it seems like he's between. Well, really, he's between Alpine.
Right.
But Alpine never seemed like an option. It was like, well, I'm not going to Alpine.
Right.
It seems like,
I mean, he's got shitty choices, but I'm like, you go with Audi, do you not? I don't understand why you don't go with Audi.
I think there must be something going on that's really bad. Or you look at the history. It took Mercedes so long to ramp up. Because first Mercedes supplied engines, right? They did that for like years, right? They supplied, I think, McLaren. They supplied the engines for like those Lewis years. Then they got in and took their own team over. So it's just like, there was a very gradual onboarding process. And for Audi to be like, we're just all in. We're going to do cars, engines at the same time. And I think they've had a lot of turnover, corporate turnover. The guy that used to run Audi, I think, is now like just running the F1. Like, this seems like his Siberia. So I think there's a lot of like uncertainty of of how this is going to shake out management wise.
Yeah, I mean, when was the last time Williams was good though? I just
But
feel
James
like
Vowles, he wears the
Vowles-
shirts, dude. He wears the shirts, and he's got
Yeah, I
the
just think-
data, and he's well spoken. I mean, what's crazy?
I think he knows how to like put a PowerPoint. I think he just knows how to make a presentation. Like this is kind of what happened. You know, it's like when Danny left Red Bull and went to Renault. I remember being like, they must have sold him a dream.
Cyril had passion. Cyril was hot. Cyril was
Right.
like, me and you,
Yes.
Daniel, against, and they gave him a shitload of money. Let's not forget that they gave him a
Right.
shitload of
Yes,
money.
of course.
So
But Audi must be ready to give Carlos Sainz more money than Williams. So I don't think it's a money situation with Carlos. He must be looking towards like, where can I actually like have success? And it seems like he's thinking that it's with Williams, which to me is exactly what you're saying is James Vowles pulling the fucking wool and look, ooh, distractions, sleight of hand. No, actually, we're going to be amazing in 2026. Like, we're gonna have the Mercedes engine. Let's remember where Williams was the last time that they had a Mercedes engine in a dominant Mercedes era. They were fucking nowhere. They had the Mercedes engine when it was an engine reg, when it was all about the engine regs, and they were fucking nowhere. They were last.
that was Claire Williams' fault.
Right. Yeah, that's what he would say.
That's what he'll say, right? I don't get it. I don't necessarily know that Williams is going to be better than Alpine. I mean, maybe it's recency bias, but Alpine seems like a shit show. But you know what they did? They have two good drivers. They have two fucking good drivers. Which seems like a good management choice to have two. I mean, they hated each other, but they hate each other.
Sure.
But
This is all relative.
you know, they've got one fucking they've got one fucking albatross around their neck, and his name is Logan Sargent. And I don't know. I feel like, I guess, who would you hire though?
But if Alex Albon's getting 2 points this year, does it matter that much who the fuck is in your car? Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, of course,
We
Sargent
don't
sucks,
know,
but like,
Ryan. We don't
yeah, but
know.
you would think you think that, like, I know that you're
I
unsold.
think if you
Here's
had
what-
Nico Hulkenberg in that car, in that second seat, you might have 3 or 4 points. That's what I think.
Right. What will be nice about this next year is that if Sainz goes to Williams, then the era of you know, Alex Albon just being golden boy all of a sudden goes away. We'll see what happens to the golden boy status of Alex Albon if Carlos Sainz is in that seat next year. That'll be at least fun to watch. That'll keep something interesting happening.
I think I'm going to be miserable because I think Sainz is going to eat him for lunch just because I think he's mentally stronger, maybe. And then people are going to be like, "Wow, Sainz just beat a top driver. Just Sainz just proving his greatness." I'm like, "No, who did Albon beat though? Who did Albon beat though?"
So then, who's going to this Audi seat?
I think so. The word on the street is Ocon's going to Haas. Sainz is going to
Right. So is Behrman going to Haas?
Behrman and who is going to fucking Audi? Like they're like, who's going there? Mario Andretti? Like, are they going to have to go all the way down to just? They can't give this seat away.
Because it doesn't seem like they want Bottas still. It doesn't seem like like Bottas is, I don't think, staying there. So then it's like, or I mean, maybe they keep Zhou.
Maybe they bring Pourchaire. Maybe they bring Pourchaire back in, or Zhou. Seems like it might be one of those deals. Liam Lawson might actually be the best option. If maybe
they can get him on loan.
No, I think I think the deal is if they don't give Liam a seat next year, he can leave.
Okay.
I think Liam might be the best option. I also think that'd
be really fun.
I think Liam might be the best option for Alpine. He's proven himself.
Yeah.
But what does that say about your academy? Right? you kind of just shit on your academy if you're like. It's crazy how this just comes down to luck. Like, where's the opening? What academy you're at? The opening's at Alpine.
Right.
You're at that academy. You might get the seat. There's no
unless you're Oscar Piastri.
Unless you're Oscar Piastri, exactly.
Unless you're that good, and then it's just who gives a fuck? Doesn't even fucking matter.
Yeah. No, I think Liam, friend of the pod.
I think maybe Liam, friend of the motherfucking pod. Speaking of other friends of the pod, Charles Leclerc is going to be a torchbearer at the Paris Olympics. He will carry the torch through the streets of Monaco at 2:15 local time. Okay. Thought this was the French Olympics, but okay, he'll be in Monaco, which is technically a different country. It travels, but Monaco's in a different country.
Yeah, it's good.
Does it travel from like other countries to there? I
see. So he's going to do the Monaco leg.
I see.
I really don't like this for him.
I see.
You know, I think that he's going to drop it. He's going to cause a fire. His clothing is very loose. He might catch on fire. I think he's the wrong choice. I think there's a lot of Monegasque.
Who should it be?
Daniel Ricciardo. Just give it. Daniel Ricciardo would be much better at this task. He knows how to wave and smile, and I just trust that he would get it from A to B.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he just won the race. Why push your luck, dude? Why push your luck? Yeah.
Well, you're taunting them at this point. You're taunting.
As my parents would
everyone.
say, quit while you're ahead.
Quit while you're
or
ahead.
behind. They would always say that to me when I'm.
It does beg the question. We've talked about it before on the pod. Which drivers would drive for which country in the Olympics? But I'm more curious about if these drivers were going to do a different sport, that motorsport is not in the Olympics, that these drivers have to try their hands at something else. What would they all be doing?
Okay, so one, I know one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen Lewis handle a gun.
Oh,
like he had never handled, and he was just like he was just a natural.
I've seen that video.
He's going. He's doing a tactical course, and he's just absolutely lighting up targets. I think he could do riflery.
Or what's the thing where you you cross country ski?
You could probably do that,
and then you do the riflery. You do that like the endurance thing.
Yeah, he would be good at that because he's got crazy hand-eye. He'd be good at something like that. I think he would be fantastic at that, and I think he would actually be good at it. Elite. I think obviously some of these guys. I think K-Mag would be really good at the luge.
The luge. I mean, he might be fast, but we might not have him for a long time. He's reckless.
I think he should have been a rally car. I think he struggles with other people around him.
I see.
You know, if you just put him in a fucking thing and just go. George Russell too, right? We're talking qualifying times, right? They're just doing quality laps. They don't have to worry about maintaining their tires. It's just fucking balls to the wall. Just luge. Something like luge.
And George Russell is he's so long and thin. I feel like he's aerodynamically
I would like to I'd like to see him speed skate. I don't know if he's got the body for it. He's a little too Slenderman.
He would just be but who knows? Maybe that length would actually help because it's he's just so. I just need to see his body language on the ice.
I used to love speed skating. That was what I used to watch. I like to actually watch. Just where they stick their finger.
Yeah.
Remember Apollo Ono, whatever his name is, something Ono.
Oh yeah.
That guy was. Guy was cool.
Yeah. Apollo Anton Ono.
He was fucking cool. Who would be the best?
I feel like
skater?
Yuki. I feel like
let's talk about the sports that we give a fuck about.
Okay, I think that Yuki would be great at gymnastics. I think put Yuki on the rings, put Yuki on the pommel horse. I know you have to be really ripped as fuck to do that, and he might hate that aspect of it. But he'll be able, because something that makes Simone Biles so good is how small she is, because you can get the rotation, you get that extra rotation because you have a small the center of gravity is low.
Yeah, and Yuki
you can just spin.
And you got to be a killer. You can't get. I mean, you have to be fearless. I mean, gymnastics, you have to be fearless.
Right.
You have to not fear death or paralyzation.
Dude, I'm just seeing Yuki on the fucking rings, just like, and I'm loving the image of it. However, I also kind of Yuki and Pierre as doubles figure skating. Just let two men do it for once.
Yeah.
And let the bromance
don't be so heteronormative.
Don't be so fucking heteronormative. And let the boys fucking play.
I'm trying to think.
What would Max do?
I see Max with some guns, something with guns. I also see Max handling some weaponry, archery, something nerdy.
Yeah. Right. Who else do we care about in F1 that we'd want to see do something?
I don't know if Leclerc does a single thing. I think Leclerc is like one of the models that they like use, like that's just like hot, that represents the country that he's in. No, you know what Leclerc is? Leclerc is like on the Ralph Lauren site modeling the clothes.
Right.
For like that, France is using Comme des Garçons.
He's the stock model.
Well, because each country uses like America uses Ralph Lauren. I'm sure France uses some French designer, like I don't know, what's a French designer that they probably use? I don't know. Is
Yves Saint Laurent.
Like he'll model the clothes from the country.
Right. You know what Carlos Sainz would do? Carlos Sainz would do the decathlon.
All around.
Just because he's just fucking good at everything. He's just a mile wide,
inch deep,
perfect for decathlon.
I'm trying to think, what would Alonso do?
Alonso. What would Alonso and Lando do? What would Alonso do in the Olympics?
I think he would do something masochistic. I think he would do like cross-country skiing. Something that involves suffering.
I was thinking like wrestling.
He's missing a pec.
Oh, right. But that might be an advantage. Sometimes it's like the wrestlers who are like missing a limb and they're actually like better than everyone else.
Did you see the one with the guy who had missing two legs? And he just fucking
and he's just
wrecking people.
Fucked everyone up.
Yeah, Alonso would be good at wrestling. What would Lando do? I don't see him doing. I would love to see him do the one with the brooms. He's
curling,
just yelling at people to like get it straight. Max would kill that. Max
would be good at curling.
More like he'd just be screaming at the sweepers.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd be eating while he's doing it. That's like a perfect Max sport because it's like you can be kind of lazy. It's like you just can fucking be. It's about precision and being
Max
lazy.
Would kill fucking curling. Because it's
who would you want on your curling team?
Honestly, all these drivers would be good at curling because it's about a repetitive movement.
Right.
Right. I would definitely not want Yuki sweeping.
No. You want Valtteri Bottas sleeping. You want the helpers sleeping. You want the good number two drivers sleeping.
You want Valtteri Bottas sweeping. You want Perez sweeping.
Right. You don't want George Russell.
George Russell will be like, "Well, can I get a swing at it? Can I be the pusher?" Yeah. All these guys would be good at curling. I'm sure they would all be pretty good at golf if they like took it up early enough.
Right, sure.
Because when you say driving and golf are like, it's all about that repetitive, perfecting an exact movement.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me look up the.
All right.
Just really
different
quick.
Sports.
Well, hold on. Let me just look
swimming. George could be a good swimming. What would Ocon?
Ocon could be a good swimmer.
Ocon would also. You know what Ocon does? Ocon does the ski jump, where you just like do the one jump for like 1,000,000 miles, and you're just like holding with your skis up. I don't know what the fuck that's called. He would crush that. Olympic sports. Diving. Diving would also be like a kind of F1-y kind of thing because it's just about repeating the one motion. Just getting your body
Leclerc would
to
die.
Repeat it.
Leclerc would go fucking splat. Piastri.
Leclerc can't do any of this shit.
Piastri would be a good diver. I feel like you kind of have to. I mean, Piastri would be a good diver. I mean, what's a sport? I mean, Piastri would also be good at the the shooting speed thing because it's like you have to. Part of it is like you have to do endurance and then you have to get your heart rate down like super low. That's what makes it hard. Is you're like running, and then you have to calm the fuck down and shoot.
Yeah,
I think he would be really good at that.
All right, this next segment is going to be us discussing the Destructors Championship. Not the Constructors, the Destructors. Who's costing the most amount of money to their teams? Which teams are doing good financially? Which teams are not? And who could benefit from it? By using our newest sponsor, Cash App, baby. All right, let's get into the Destructors Championship. Okay, right now, at the top of the Destructors Championship, who's costing their team the least amount of money? We got Lewis and Pierre Gasly. $0. That's crazy.
I'm shocked about Pierre. I feel like he crashed with his fucking teammate.
Right, but the question is, I guess, does Ocon get that tacked onto his thing because Ocon crashed into him?
Debatable. It's just hard to believe it's zero.
Yeah.
No, Lewis has kept it. Lewis has cost his team emotionally more than
that's
financially.
Right. You can't measure what Lewis has cost the team in dollars, but there's been a cost. Just below them, Yuki Tsunoda with $5,000.
Dude, we could cover that. I'd cover that for him.
I would cover it too.
Yeah, I would cover that. Just to make Yuki squared away, just so Helmut Marko doesn't feel any sort of like resentment towards him. Just be like, look,
right,
we got it.
Yeah,
he's
good. He's good for it.
Yeah.
Next is Lando with $100,000.
Okay, couldn't quite cover it,
clean.
but not bad.
Oh, yeah. I'm not. We're now out of that. We're covering any of this territory. Valtteri Bottas next with $125,000 worth of damage. Carlos Sainz, $342,000 worth of damage. Nico Hulkenberg, $350,000 worth of damage. Max Verstappen,
the Yuki one is actually
$455,000.
kind of shocking.
Yeah.
The Yuki one's shocking because it's like most of these guys, I'm like, they're kind of the chiller drivers.
Right.
And for have Yuki be in the chill zone is pretty crazy.
I know. That's not he's so fucking mature now, dude. It's crazy. Max Verstappen, $455,000. Oscar Piastri, $575,000, who is also tied with Charles Leclerc. Yeah, he gets his fucking nose in there.
Yeah. His insurance premiums are going up, Oscar, for sure.
Yeah. Now we're heading into territories where it's getting expensive. George Russell, $832,000.
Makes sense when you're
compared
crazy.
to Lewis, who has $0. Esteban Ocon, $950,000 worth of damage, compared with Pierre Gasly, who has 0.
That seems high. That seems like they just gave all of that to him.
I think.
I think because it all went to. I think it's because it happened to his car more. I think it's like what happened to your car.
Right.
Honestly, this K-Mag number seems low.
Yeah, $1,015,000.
Yeah, that seems very low. That seems like you're getting a bargain for how aggressive he is.
Yeah, especially after all the everything that's happened this year, including
Alonso.
Monaco.
That's crazy high.
Yes,
he's right next to Lance.
He must have had some big crashes this year.
I think he's gone off in practice and shit, and I think he's had a
few.
He's had a few boo-boos.
Yeah, the Aston Martin team's hurting this year because Lance is 1.13 and Alonso is 1.052. So they've had a lot of damage.
Not as bad as the Williams team.
The Williams team is running in last as a team, as an organization,
Yes.
because Logan Sargent is in fifth with 1.151.
Yeah.
Alex Albon's in second with $2.271 million.
Yeah. Now we got Danny Rick, 1.2.
Danny
I
Rick.
think that was the Albon crash,
Yep.
which I think was most. And then Albon also sent it off with the
In Australia.
he
Destroy the
just crashed
chassis.
in free practice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because some of these, like, when you're in the race, you're in the chaos, it's, like, more excusable. But, like, when it's an unassisted error and you destroy the chassis, that's fucking crazy. Then Zhou Guan Yu, 1.419 in third. But our
When did
numero
that happen?
uno.
When did that happen?
When did that happen? I feel like he's kept his nose kind
I
of
feel like he's a safe
here.
pair of hands. Maybe he had some offs in free practice that we just didn't see because we don't watch free practice most of the time.
Yeah.
Most of the
We're
time.
not fucking nerds.
We're not freaks. And then number one, this is brutal. This is just like, we try. It's like we can't get through an episode without shitting on this guy.
Right now, there's a lot to shit on.
No, but it's like we don't even want to do it, but
I
it just
know.
happens. Jenny's like, here are the Destructor. You want to talk about the Destructors? We're like, okay, up. Checo's number one.
Checo would hope to have this gap in qualifying by a $500,000 gap.
But what's crazy is it's like, don't kick him in while he's down. He just got re-signed. It's like we wouldn't kick him in when he's down if he didn't get re-signed. Like he gets to keep his job.
Right.
So what do you want us to do? He's doing a bad job. He's slow.
And he's staying in the sport.
Wait, he's slow, and he crashes a lot,
Yeah.
and he keeps his job. It's like I remember Rob Reiner was like, you want to have a movie that either makes a lot of money or is good critically or critically well reviewed, right?
Right.
Ideally, you want him to be both, but as long as it's
Yeah.
one of the two, you're good. What you definitely don't want is a movie that is not critically well reviewed and doesn't make any money. Then you're fucked.
Yeah.
Checo is the equivalent of a movie that doesn't do well at the box office and is panned.
Right.
Yeah,
it's a tough year. But it's a tough year, and yet here he is. He's fucking prancing for the next 2 years. However, I know you said this in the last, one of the last times we were on the pod, but like, is there, they re-signed Yuki. Maybe they're going to re-sign Ricciardo at Visa Cash App. Is there at all a pressure in this next 2 years with Checo that it's like, we could void this contract. We'll pay you out, but you'll be out.
I think they probably have an option to get rid of him after a year. But even 1 year is crazy. Even like, let's run this back one more year. Even
this year.
Just the one more year.
To be driving this year is kind of
you think
aggressive.
Oh, you're right. For Red Bull, especially given their history, to just not yank him now.
Yeah.
To just put, what are we doing? Just put Yuki in the car.
Just put
I don't know.
Fucking Yuki in the
Just
goddamn
put Yuki in
car.
the
And
car.
it seems like Lance Stroll said that he is like committed to the Aston project. So he's not leaving anytime soon.
Wild. That is such a wild thing to say.
Yeah.
To be like a mid driver at best, to be like, yeah, I'm still committed to driving.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if who's a guy that's hanging on by his fucking fingernails?
Kevin Magnussen.
Kevin Magnussen was like,
Bottas.
yeah, I'm still committed to Haas.
Right.
And my heart, I still, when I wake up every day, I go, I still want to do this.
Right.
Nico
right.
Hulkenberg, right? I am still committed to the Haas project. Ocon, guys that are just like, I'm still committed to being a Formula One driver. Oh, great. Such a wild, so like out of touch.
Well, it speaks to where the head's at. It's just like,
it's like the fact that he even has to answer it it's the fact that he even has to the fact that he even answers it that way is crazy. Like if somebody asked me that question and I'm Lance Stroll, I think, or if I'm Lance Stroll's like publicist, I'm like, your answer is of course.
Yeah. Why would you even ask
Why
me
would
that?
you even ask me that?
I'm 25 years old. I'm in the prime of my career.
The only person who can kind of get away with it is like Max. Max is like, maybe I'll do this. Like,
right.
I've been fucking the world for 72 hours and my dick is raw. And I just might need some time off.
Right.
You know?
Right. No, he's still committed. He's still committed to it.
It's like him and Max are the two people that are like, I don't know about this thing. We'll see.
Right. The people with the most job security.
Yeah.
The people that are
those are
Max
the two.
and Lance.
Max and Lance.
Vankas, not only does Cash App sponsor our favorite perfectly branded Formula One team, but they also make it easier for you to save money so you can do the things you love, like going to an F1 race. Listen, to be honest, we thought that Cash App was just a way to send people money, but it's also a faster and simpler way to bank. Streamline that. You can start saving with as little as $1. No hidden fees, no minimum balance requirements, no account fees, which we know that people need. I needed that. I need that right now.
Yeah. I needed that a couple years ago.
And we know that overdraft fees make no sense. Why are you charging someone if they don't have any money? Plus, when you deposit $300 or more in paychecks, you get up to $50 in free overdraft coverage. So Cash App has got your back. It pays to get paid on Cash App. So go download the app today. Now back to the show. Well, so Spain is coming up. Bunch of teams are going to be bringing upgrades. Red Bull's bringing upgrades. Mercedes bringing upgrades. McLaren, VCarb, Aston, all bringing upgrades. Ferrari's bringing an upgrade, which includes a new floor, rear bodywork changes, and more. We'll see if they can bounce back from this brutal last week that they had. Gunter said that Spain is an interesting track because they've had the most time kind of on Spain. It's a track where all the teams should be running very well.
And I think it's like the most emblematic. And it's also the most emblematic. It's the most sort of standard
middle of the
track.
road. Yeah.
There's the fewest outliers. So I think, we've had Monaco, we've had Canada, we've had a few outliery tracks.
Yeah, we've had fun tracks.
Right. We've had a few tracks where it's like easy to get caught up in the sort of spike instead of the trend.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, maybe it's McLaren, maybe it's Ferrari, maybe Red Bull's dead, maybe Ding Dong the Witch is dead. But I think maybe this might just kind of say, no, it's still kind of Red Bull. We'll see.
No, I think this summer might be a little tough because it's going to be a lot of tracks that might suit Red Bull. I think this track especially is going to suit Red Bull.
But the big question is the we know there's been a relative change in pace performance with McLaren and Ferrari. Ferrari had a bad weekends in Canada, but it seems like Mercedes might have made a jump.
Yeah, they might be entering the chat.
And we know that Red Bull complained about some flexy wing.
Yep.
That fact that Horner has gotten back to doing this is a sign that maybe just this telling that maybe they are a little worried. Christian hasn't complained about shit in a very long time.
Right.
So maybe this is serious. Maybe Mercedes is in trouble. Maybe Mercedes is going to be a fucking problem.
Yep.
But
James Allison is certainly out here talking like they're going to be a problem. Before Canada, he said, my guess is that as soon as it's a decent range of quartering speeds, they will be useful again, but it looks as if their upgrades was a downgrade. This is in response to Red Bull's upgrades in Canada. So fingers crossed that we will fuck them up. To which Christian said, even with our downgrade, we managed to beat their upgrade because Mercedes had brought an upgrade.
This is like when you're down like 9,000 points.
Yeah.
And you hit 1-3.
Right.
And you start, it's like you're still down so big.
Right.
Like
and you start celebrating. You're like, yes, and then you're like, you don't get back on defense, and they score a quick 2.
you
you're like, actually, that was a 1 point then.
You didn't even win this quarter. You scored 1 point. You didn't even win the game. You didn't win a set. You haven't won. You've won nothing. You scored 1 point in one interaction.
Right.
It's crazy.
No, they're all.
You didn't even score the point. You didn't even score a point. you made them. You hit it. You actually managed to hit one back. They've just been fucking acing you this whole time. You returned to serve. Congratulations. And now you're talking shit. I am not that secure. I don't start talking shit until I'm very secure that I have the upper hand. It's wild that James Allison's coming out talking shit already.
No, I remember I went to, I think I've told you this story before, but I went to the AFC Championship game. The Jets were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I was in college my freshman year, and I was in college in Pittsburgh. And we got tickets to the AFC Championship game. And I get there, and it's a sea of yellow, and I'm wearing green. And, like, little kids are, like, cussing me out. Like, Pittsburgh doesn't fuck around. I'm being called bad names that I cannot say on air. Being called bad names by, like, 10-year-olds. I'm like, where'd you learn that? Who put some soap into your mouth? Anyway, I'm there. The Jets are getting their ass kicked for the first half. They, I think, had like -5 rushing yards, and it was like 20-3 or something like that. And there was this guy in front of me who, like, every time I would say, like, the word Jets, he would go, fuck the Jets. And I'd be like, let's go Jets. He'd go, fuck the Jets. So then I just started being like, Jets. And he'd go, fuck the Jets. And I started, like, messing with him a little bit. Then we're getting our ass kicked so bad that I'm like, I start celebrating all the little wins that the Jets get. They get 1 rushing yard, and I'm like, woo! Like, we're coming for your asses. Because I'm, like, aware that we're comfortably going to lose this game. Like, there's no way I can have, and everyone's laughing with me. They're like, that's fun because we're kicking your ass, X, Y, and Z. Then slowly the Jets start, like, coming back.
Yeah.
And then it's like I stop making the jokes, and then I start, like, seeing the people that were laughing at my jokes, like, a minute ago start giving me, like, looks. Like dirty looks. And I'm like, oh, I've just, like, pissed off everyone around me. And now I'm actively hoping that the Jets lose, because if they win, I might not make it out of the fucking stadium. But sure enough, they did lose.
Of course.
But I would never.
Who is it? Was this Sanchez?
It was Sanchez, yeah.
Yeah.
Sanchez is, I think, second year. But, like, you don't, like, whenever I talk, it's like, if I'm ever in that position, you obviously talk shit in, like, this is clearly a joke kind of way. But that's not how these guys are talking shit. No. Because they're starving lions.
Yep.
James Allison is a starving lion.
Yep.
And he's like, roar! And it's like, no, you're not there yet. You're not back. You can't roar with fucking full.
That's why you got to be a fat rat, baby.
You gotta be a fat rat. Okay.
Rat.
Which of these fat rats and the starving lions? What do you think is going to happen in? What do you think's happening in Spain?
I think McLaren. I'm liking McLaren.
McLaren
Lando
again?
Norris, baby. I think this has been a world-class organization. What they've been able to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way that they consistently bring upgrades. The way they do their pit stops, they do all the little things. They eat pussy. They do foreplay, and it's going to add up. They do it all. I think Lando's due another one. That's what I think.
Where do you think? You think Lando's could win?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he's doing another one.
I think Max is winning by like 10 plus seconds. I think Max is.
Oh, you think they're going to make a statement? Like you forgot about?
I think they're making I think it is a statement win from.
It's gonna be a statement win. I just don't want to put my head there. I don't want to put my head in that place. I don't want to.
I know. It pains me to even say it, but I guess because Ferrari had the bad week last week. Now it looks like Merck's gonna. So of those 3,
I think it's just you fuck up the setup and you're.
Yeah.
I think Ferrari just fucking up that weekend is not an indicator that they're off the pace.
Right.
They could be there.
Hey, they won Le Mans.
But if I had to,
it's a great organization.
Yeah, but if I had to bet my life, obviously I'm gonna bet on Max every single time.
I'm liking a good week from VCarb because they're bringing some upgrades. They should be a lot quicker on the straights, which has been their issue. But I'd also be curious what's going to happen with our boy Fernando Alonso, because this is his home turf. We have a T-shirt coming out this week honoring Alonso in Spain.
Why do I seem to remember that he doesn't run well there? I seem to remember
he has won his home race 3 times. He's won there 3 times.
So he runs very well there. I seem to remember
2012 and 2013.
It might be like I remember reading somewhere he runs really poorly at like some legendary track. I think it might be Spa. He's like, he sucks at one of these old tracks.
And Aston's bringing upgrades.
Well,
so
we
I'm
know
that
the
top 5
they don't
Fernando
bring
Alonso.
their upgrades tend to suck though.
Yeah.
McLaren brings good upgrades.
Yeah.
Mercedes has brought good upgrades. I don't know. Aston tends to go backwards, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Anything
he's
is
had
possible.
a bad couple weeks. I just expect him to be he's going to be in Q3, I think. I think he's getting points. I think it's going to be a good week for Fernando Alonso. That's what I'm feeling.
Okay. I don't want to get my hopes up. I've kind of forgotten about him this season. He's kind of been nowhere.
He has been kind of a little bit nowhere.
I've kind of, it's weird because like now that Lando and Ferrari has been, McLaren and Ferrari have been more competitive, I haven't had to be like, where did Fernando finish this season?
Yeah. There's real things to talk about.
There's real things to talk about. I haven't had to been like looking at the deep cuts as much. Obviously, we're still tracking Yuki, but
Matt turning on Fernando and becoming a Lando Norris fan. Not something that I had in my. I'm
a fan of exciting things happening.
All right, that fucking just about motherfucking does it.
Yeah, I think that does it. All right, I guess fuck Le Mans, and we'll
see you fucking next time, Bankers.
Goodbye,
Bankers.
Bankers.